Well, we can give him 100% for effort, but actually the performance will be marked much worse than that. It turns out that actually one of his radio interviews, he actually had cited the questions beforehand so he could rehearse the answers. And the other things were largely scripted. He's actually not done much to demonstrate that he has the mental capacity to think on his feet and do so in a presidential manner. And therefore, the drip of concern within the Democratic Party of building support to replace him continues and continues at a pace. He has not assuaged his critics, who actually, and the voices get louder across the media, within Congress, within the donor class, within actually the grassroots of the party. That groundswell is continuing.
Yeah. So do you think it could come to a head in the next week or so? A lot of the senators are coming back to Washington. There'll no doubt be lots of conversations behind closed doors.
I think that the pace is about right. A week to 10 days. He will be given the grace period of the NATO summit where he is hosting. No one will move against him there. What's happening, reading behind the scenes across the Washington spectrum, is that people are building support for that move against him. They don't want to go prematurely because they don't want to be picked off individually. But the support within Congress is mounting because they are increasingly concerned that his poor performance in the campaign will mean a low turnout and will mean that the Democrats will likely not just lose the presidency but the House and the Senate. Giving all those to Donald Trump would make his power unfettered, and they're really concerned about that. And that's one of the motivations why they're keen to see him replaced, and see him replaced before the convention in August. So it has to happen in July, and it has to happen, and probably will, that attempt will happen in the next 10 days to 2 weeks.
Do you, in your mind, is there only one candidate in Kamala Harris? Would it be too difficult to look anywhere else at this point?
Well, part of the difficulty is there is no precedent and no process for getting rid of a candidate at this late stage of the election cycle, let alone a sitting president who doesn't want to go. And then you have the additional problem of Harris doesn't want to go either. Many people would like her to step aside and have a clean attempt at getting a new slate. But because trying to remove her as well would be more difficult, there is a focus on, well, let's just have her instead of him, with the recognition that even though her poll numbers are not great, there's a chance that she can improve the position, where the assumption is that Biden will not be able to improve the situation given his mental difficulties. So there's also a question of the money. What the Biden campaign are saying is, all that money we've raised for the campaign, no one else can use it apart from Biden or Harris, in which case they're saying, well, let's go with Harris. And then the other idea is that actually the main dynamics of this race are Trump or not Trump, provided the other candidate is mentally competent. So as long as they have someone who's mentally competent, in this case Kamala Harris, then she's bound to be better than Biden in this case. So there is pressure to move towards Harris. There's also the case that actually, if he says he's mentally incompetent, maybe he actually would improve her chances by standing down as president, allowing her to take over as the vice president, to become the president, and therefore go into the election with the honeymoon period of being a new president, with being an incumbent, and actually would give her that boost. But there are other voices who say that actually, given the fact that Harris is from California, which is regarded as a liberal state, given that she wasn't a great campaigner when she ran for the presidency in 2020, that she's not the best person, and therefore the field should be opened up to people like Governor Gretchen Whitmer or Governor from California, Newsom, Gavin Newsom, or indeed a wider field. But again, the fact that there is no consensus on which way to go shows how difficult it is for the Democratic Party to actually make this happen, and make this happen in an orderly way. It's clearly a very risky process, whatever they do, but actually they are in crisis because of the perception of the mental acuity of Biden.
Yeah, and it's so debilitating at a time where standing against the Republican nominee, a convicted felon who faces any number of problems, you know, the Republicans don't have to do anything right now. They just have to watch the Democrats self-destruct.
Well, yes, but they are also actually trying to further the difficulties of the Democratic Party. There've been calls within the House to actually subpoena Biden's doctor to come to the White House and be grilled in Congress as to whether he has put Biden through any mental tests and what the results of those tests are. They are making the most of the difficulties that Biden and the Democratic Party are having, and they are enjoying the situation that they're in. Trump was recorded recently saying that actually that Kamala Harris will be terrible as a candidate, and he would look forward to going up against her if it was her rather than Biden. So he regards himself as able to beat her in a debate, and so actually the Republicans are having a very good set of results, and not just the debate, but also, of course, the Supreme Court judgment allowing effectively Trump not to be prosecuted before the election, and giving him a potentially carte blanche legal immunity when he's president if he gets elected in November. So the Republicans are having a good time of it and enjoying and exploiting the difficulties of the Democratic Party.
They certainly are. Great to see you, David. Thanks for your time.
Good to see you too.